Boom, we're live.
Right.
Here we are. Yay. This is a one. Yes, there you go.
Right.
That is that's how we're starting the day. It seems
We're just
right
gonna
now.
keep this next to me this morning, Mike.
Yeah.
Whew.
So hey Glenda.
Hey, good morning, Mike.
How are you?
Oh,
It's-
what would I say? We got some reposado up in here.
Yes, it's Tuesday. We have a full bottle of tequila. That might be half a bottle of tequila by the time the day is over with.
Yeah,
But it's this is how life works, right?
It is,
It
for
doesn't always go according to plan. So you
what
gotta,
the hell is going on is exactly right today.
yes, what the hell is going on? That was the title of the talk today is
Yep.
what the hell is happening right now. So let's just start with the news of the day, and then we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff today
Yeah.
because we need to get our heads in a good place so we're happy individuals. We're going to talk about some of the bad stuff that's going on, but we're going to talk about all the good stuff that could
For
be
sure.
going on as well. Like today is the first Western Wildcats 7th grade
Woo!
football game, so I'm very excited about
Here
that.
we go, Western.
So that's a positive thing that's happening today that I'm happy about. All right. So what happened this morning is it was kind of a weird thing. So the today was a big news day for oh God,
The CPI.
look at that.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh.
All right. So today was a big news day because of the consumer price index inflation data that was coming out. There was a lot of thought that that we would have improved numbers, which we actually did. The overall inflation number was down slightly from where it was month over month, I believe.
Right.
I'll need to go back and check because it's just crazy today. But what that means too, or what happened as well, is that a lot of the numbers that they were, because one of the biggest impacts on this was in energy prices. So like gasoline had gone way down,
Right.
which affected overall inflation positively. But things like rent, food, some other energy prices, those things, were quite a bit higher than
Right.
what was expected.
Right.
So even though, and again, if I'm wrong on this, somebody tell me, but overall, I think the number was like down 0.1% or something like
Right.
that. It was expected to be less than that. So that was part of the problem.
Correct.
And then the stuff that really matters, which is the thing that impacts consumers every day, like to some degree, energy prices, not gas, but just natural gas and things
Right.
like that, electricity, stuff that we have to pay for every day to live is all higher
Right.
had gone up higher than expected. So the markets didn't adjust very favorably to that.
Tequila.
Yes. So
Hashtag tequila today.
so this is a good place to we were talking about this before we got started and said, okay, well, we were in August or early August and rates were at the mid fives, right? Low fives to mid fives, and everybody was like, oh well,
I'll wait.
this is a lot higher than what I want, so I'm going to wait a little longer and expect rates to go down. Well, before today, we were creeping up on 6%. And after today, it may be worse than that. So, that's where things are going. So, a lot of times the lesson here is to some extent is
do not wait.
don't wait.
We can refinance down the road.
Yes. So you can have days like today that happen that really impact interest rates across the board,
Right.
for mortgages, because mortgage-backed securities are way down. So that's where we are. It's not ideal. It's not great. But tomorrow is a new day and we still have to keep chugging along, and you don't get to just go to sleep and hide in a hole and
No, we
disappear because you can't.
No.
Life goes on. So it's not fantastic, but we're
And it
still
will
breathing.
change,
Yes.
right? So I think that's kind of the miserable cow, like I posted the other day. A lot of people love that. Well, we don't want to be a miserable cow today. Well, we probably do today, but it will change.
Yes.
Because it is a real estate market and it never, ever, ever stays the same.
Right.
Nothing, the ebbs and the flows of what it does.
Yes.
So for those, I think the biggest thing, if you take this away or take away, is don't wait. We
Right.
have internal systems that we can help you guys run on agents. So if your client says, I want to wait, call us. We can give them a cost versus waiting analysis, a 6 month, a year trajectory to see if they waited, one, what would they do? And just they have to get off the fence.
Yeah.
Like we have to bring buyers back because inventory is higher.
Yep.
And the only way to do that is to bring buyers back into there and know that they're okay with that payment. And we will absolutely refinance down the road.
Well, and in general, I think you said you were experiencing this, and so was I. I mean, the last month, or even last couple of weeks, I mean, we were getting a good volume of calls of people getting pre-qualified and want to go buy homes, and that the need for housing is not going to go away. The expense of housing is going to continue to increase, which is why, like you said, the importance of getting started as soon as you can and doing something is paramount, because it's not getting cheaper.
Right.
Now, home prices had been appreciating at a 30% clip,
right,
or 20 to, overall, like the last 2 years, I think it's
one was 52%. I'm like, dude, that's not normal. And he's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, no, dude. Historically is what, 3 to 7%?
Yeah, it's a small amount. I mean, there's always appreciation. Real estate, if you look at the historical charts, it always goes up.
Right.
Now there are periods of time, a year, a couple months where there'll be dips, because of recessions and demand decreasing. Right. But on the whole, the price of real estate continues to go up.
Right.
And part of the problem is that they're not building. I mean, the housing starts for single family residences have almost come to a grinding halt.
For sure, because builders don't want to build right now.
They don't want to build.
Lumber prices are still up.
Yeah.
Commodities price, right? I'm affecting it right now. Like we picked tile out 7 months ago for our new house, and then we got a call, like half of it's out of order now. So we have to go pick more out. So it is just, what do we call it? Supply chain COVID oil?
Supply chain COVID oil. That's the hashtag.
My husband's like, again, Glendon, I'm like, seriously, like it doesn't matter. We get the stuff at school. Yeah. If it's bacon, like it's the random stuff that's out. It's all supply chain COVID oil.
Yes. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and everybody's impacted differently with what's happening. The reality is that with this type of thing, with inflation, the people that are hit the hardest on this kind of thing are, I guess, lack of a better word, the working class. That
I need to open some tequila. Yeah, I feel like, and I don't even drink tequila a lot, but I feel like we should just drink tequila today.
Yes, sorry. It's not the worst plan in the world, but with all of that stuff, with all of these costs going up, this is really impacting people. And the one that's really, not as talked about as much, I don't think, is everybody knows food prices are up. Everybody knows gas was up for a while. Sure. It's come down some, but that's because we've tapped all of our not all of our reserves, but
it hit 319 the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, see." What goes up must come down.
Right. But energy prices on the whole are going up. And with the whole issue that's going on with Russia and Ukraine and what's happening with energy prices in Europe, all of this stuff will impact us to some degree over here. It's just a matter of when and how much. But the thing that's really has gone up quite a bit is rent. Like,
absolutely.
Rent is continuing to go up. And I've been screaming this for months, or, almost a year or so, with with institutional investors coming in and buying up as much real estate as they have over the last couple of years. They are turning into America's landlord. They are the Blackstones and BlackRocks, because of the company of the world.
They say they own 31% is what they said.
Well, not they specifically, but in Texas there was 30% of the homes purchased in 2021 were purchased
BlackRock,
by,
right?
Well, not them specifically, but institutional investors. Not
30%, y'all.
Yes, not mom and pop. So they're becoming America's landlord.
Right.
And when that happens, rents go up, and I can promise you they're not good landlords.
No, I have a client that we talked to yesterday. He is forecasting right now, his payment is $1,400.
Yep.
So we talked about his payment, and he said, you know what, Glenda, I understand my payment's going to go up. When I buy a house, I said, absolutely. I said, what's your rent going up at the end of the lease? He said, that's exactly why we're calling today.
Yeah.
Right. We're in September is when we're filming this. His lease is not up until January.
Yep.
$2,900. Like, it is over double. And he was like, I can't do that. And I said, exactly. We can get you at a home for a lot less. So when you think the rent is there, you guys that are renting need to call your landlords. Yeah. It's not too early to make that call when your lease is up in 6 months.
Yeah.
Because most of the time the commodity prices are going to go up and your rent's going to go up.
Yes.
So you might as well start looking at a home today to get it into it, and then we can refinance down the road.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is, at least, I mean, even if your rent's $2,000 and your mortgage payment's $2,500, there's a good portion of that that's going to equity in your house, that you're building wealth over time, and you're gaining equity in the market. So, I mean, it's still always a better idea to own than it is to rent. The problem is that, one of the issues when you have as much inflation as we've had is that savings are impacted, how much money people have available to them. But there's a lot of very good down payment assistance programs that you can use. The rates are higher with them, but it's better than renting.
Or sellers concessions. We are
Yes.
seeing a ton of those right now.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
And that's the benefit too right now is that, yes, rates are high and they are higher than they were, and they're probably going to continue to go up, which again is the importance of getting on this as quickly as you can. But the prices for the homes, because sellers have to sell to some extent. Some of these people are needing to get rid of these homes. And so you're seeing prices come down some, but the bigger impact is that you're seeing your cash to close be impacted in the opposite direction, because now the sellers are paying title, they're paying for surveys, they're giving seller credits, they're doing whatever they can because they still have to sell the house.
Right.
And so, so you're getting your cash out of pocket up front being reduced pretty significantly. Not only you're not having to pay over like you were before, but now you're getting some costs covered. So that's coming down. But then you also have, your out-of-pocket expense that is really being impacted, that's minimized. So even though your monthly payment is more than it would have been because of the rates, the overall expense that you're having to come out of pocket to do the loan or to buy the house is a lot less. Right.
Absolutely. Well, and the one thing that I had talked to a real estate agent about yesterday is you have to now agents price the home accordingly. Sellers can no longer be greedy like we were in 2020. And when I say we, like sellers, you have to price it. It's kind of the flip, right? Buyers had one shot on their offer. It had to be one and done. It was perfect to get 100 offers.
Right.
Well, flip the script today. Sellers have one shot at getting that buyer in the door. So agents, this is your time and you're expert, right? Because we're on the lending and the financial side. We can't tell you what to price the home, but the homes that are selling right now and not sitting are priced absolutely correctly.
Right.
Those are the ones that you're not seeing decreases, right? Because those are the conversations I'm having is, why is it being decreased? Well, most of the time it's still priced at what the sellers wanted it to 60, 90, 100 days ago. So we're in this flip market that agents now need to price it, and sellers need to not be so greedy on how much they're going to get out of it, because it is not 2021 and 2020 anymore.
No,
it has the flip. The script is completely flipped on us.
Yeah. Well, and also too, as a seller, I've talked to a few that have experienced this a little bit, where you go in and you're selling your house and you're going to sell it as is, right? We're not going to do anything, make any improvements. We're not going to make it look pretty or, whatever. We're just going to, hey, here's what's available. Well, that's great. The problem is that buyers they have options,
right?
So it
has to be turnkey ready now.
they don't want to step into a house and have to put $10,000 into flooring or into tile or into cleaning it or paint or whatever. So, your house will sell. There's plenty of people. I mean, like we talked about it, our lead as lenders, our leads that are coming in for people that are trying to get pre-qualified has actually gone up in the last month. It's increasing. So that means there are people looking for homes that are trying to buy stuff, because look, at the end of the day, no matter what, people have to sell their house because they got to move or they got to get a new job or they got to do whatever. They're retiring, whatever the case may be. And people have to buy a house because, again, they're moving, they get a new job, whatever. So the market is going to continue to go. Is it the same velocity with the same volume? No, but it's going to continue to churn along. So if you want to sell your house, you have to be aware, like you said, the market's flipped and you're going to have to do more things now than you did.
Right.
You're going to have to update the paint. You're going to have to,
for sure, the stuff that we didn't have to do.
Yes.
You're going to have to virtually, not even virtually stage it. I've had some agents say they walked in the home and it was virtually staged and buyers were turned off by it.
Yes.
So it is back to 2018 that when sellers are presenting their home, your paint better be, your baseboards better be ready. Like someone was laughing, spraying the green grass on there, making it going through the winter. But it's perception, right? Because the buyer has one shot and there's options for buyers right now. And if you're not upgraded like everybody else in the area, then it's probably not a good time to list the home. You need to prepare to do that, or prepare on the flip side to have a concession for the buyers to potentially fix and upgrade the property.
Right. Yes.
It is completely flipped, and it's really weird that it's flipped in this
well,
quick.
It's so fast. This is unprecedented. Like it just doesn't happen this quickly where it flips over. I understand people's fear of, wanting to see where everything goes, but the reality is again, if you're renting and you don't own a home right now, you're impacted way harder than the people that own homes,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Because we can control insurance, right?
Right.
We can't control taxes, but we can, control insurance, shop insurance and get that down.
Yeah.
We can't control when someone else has the power to raise a price of a home.
Right.
And even apartments, right? If you try to go do in a 1-bedroom apartment, those are $1,600-$1,800 for a 400 square foot apartment. That
in our market, at least.
in our market, right? Because we're in Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas, Fort Worth, South Tarrant County, whatever.
Yeah.
And some of those are higher. So it's kind of like a balance of a budget that we have to do. So for a consumer right now, we need to push more money in savings. We need to, I did a post on it yesterday or maybe this morning that we need to start limiting like subscriptions, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I tell my agents and all my clients is go look at your monthly expenditures, see what's out there, because sometimes those are hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
That if you get rid of those hundreds of dollars that you didn't realize you had, then this home payment, the new home payment we're looking at a higher interest rate is okay.
Yeah.
And
so
we have to look at that.
It's all on autopilot. That's the problem is
we
like
forget.
Like a lot of this stuff is so easy to sign up for. You just click, and you're on.
And then you forget.
And then you look up, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I've been paying for this thing for 6 months and I've used it none, so I need to fix that. And
absolutely.
And you definitely have to dig through your finances. You got to look and see where your money's going out, what money's coming in. You have to be more diligent about tracking those kind of things. We can't just kind of frivolously spend like we used to. And, the thing about interest rates being where they are is there are still, one of the things that if you do own your home right now, we have more equity in housing right now than we've had in, I don't know, 20 years as far as like how much people's homes are worth and what they owe on those homes.
Yep.
And it's really hard because if you bought your home 3 or 4 years ago and your interest rate was 3% or 3.5% or whatever it may be, and now you're going, well, wait a minute. If I did anything right now, my rate's going to be 6% or thereabouts.
Right.
Maybe sometimes less, a little more, it depends on your situation. But does it make sense sometimes to take expenses that you're having to pay every month and get those expenses gone by doing equity loans or whatever in order to bring down your monthly expenses? Because right now it's a monthly cash flow thing, right? How much money on a monthly basis are you having to put out?
Right.
And if you can pay off a $1,000 car that you have to pay every month, or you can pay off a credit card that you've had for 15 years, you're like, oh, I'm just going to keep hammering away at this, but your payment's $400 and you got 5 of those,
right.
And you can add a couple $100 or $300, $400 to your mortgage payment, but then get rid of $1,000 worth of outgoing payments on everything else. That can make a lot of sense. Now you have to work through it. You got to talk to Glenda or myself and figure out what your situation looks like, but it's certainly something that you need to start evaluating. What are all your options on how you can keep your monthly expenses as minimum as possible?
Right.
And
because look at your credit card, the interest rates, right? Because prime rates are typically tied to home equity lines of credits and your credit cards.
Yep.
So for a lot of clients, the prime rate, of course, the 30-year fixed mortgages have gone up just because the world's in a shambles, and that's why we drink tequila.
That's right.
But look and see what your new credit card interest rate is. I had a couple yesterday. They looked at it when we started talking about a year ago. It was at like 13%. It's at 25% now. Yeah. Well, why would you not do a cash out refinances in the mid 6s to get your monthly expenditures? They were paying almost $500 a month on a $15,000, credit card. Well, if your long-term mortgage goes down, it's a long-term mortgage. But again, your monthly expenditures for the cost of living today has to go down.
Yes,
absolutely.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like when you look at a credit card, you go, okay, well, my minimum payment's $300 a month. Okay. Or 200, whatever it is. Yeah. But what you don't look at is the fact that your interest charge last month on that balance was $600.
Right.
And so even though you're not charging, maybe you decide, okay, I'm not using this card anymore. We're shutting this down. Well, that's great, except for the fact that you have a $20,000 balance and you're paying $600 a month in interest. So when you pay your $300 minimum payment, your balance at the end of the month is still going to go up. It's going up every single month. And that's a really that's a hard thing. You'll look up in 6 or 8 months, or you're like, wait a minute, I've been paying this and I haven't charged anything up. Why is my balance $6,000 more than where I started? Well, it's because of the interest that you're paying on 25% on a $20,000 balance.
It's not pretty. And we have to stop the bleeding. Like that was kind of what the hell is going on is we're in this market that lenders haven't seen, like consumers haven't seen. It's not 2008,
Right.
right? Because at that time there was predatory lending. Yeah, I was at Country Road, but that was pre Glenda. That was pre Glenda, so I was not involved in that.
Right.
But I originated some of the loans after, and there's so much scrutiny on loans today to get into the loan.
Right.
That's why it's not 2008.
Right.
Because 2008 before, if you say it was $3,000, well, they put 30,000. Today, especially self-employed buyers, there's so much scrutiny because they didn't want 2008 to happen again.
Right.
But we're in this time that we don't know what we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And we only know that it could either get worse or get a lot better. My fear and what we talked about, the fear is it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Yes.
So that's why it's so great to have a local lender like us to reach out. We talk budgeting, finance strategies, and get you on a game plan that if it's not today or tomorrow, like we can help walk you through that.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like, I'm not saying you should spend a lot of time online, but if you go
Do not, y'all.
If you go on and you look at what, the ones in the know, or however you want to consider somebody like that, is saying, the general sentiment right now is that it's going to get worse.
The
like
crash. They keep using crash.
Yes.
Well, they have to use crash because that's a negative connotation and news negative sells.
And real, just to be clear, we're not talking about housing necessarily.
Yeah.
We're talking about everything.
Yeah.
Like,
we're talking everything.
The whole thing, like stocks and bonds, and all of it. So
right.
it's the difference, what you were saying between 2008 and now is like, for sure, housing, the values have gone down, rates have gone up, demand has decreased, all that stuff. And it's impacting the market, but that's not the crux of all this. That's just one symptom of a much greater problem.
For sure.
That we're kind of experiencing right now. And so that's the thing. I think anybody looking for a house thinks, I just need to wait on the housing market. It's like, it's not the housing market. There's a whole bunch of stuff that is not going the direction that they want it to go. And, if you're in a situation where other people get to dictate what your expenses are, which is your credit card bills, they get to tell you what your interest rate's going to be, so your payment's going to go up. Your landlord gets to tell you that your rent's increasing because his cost of owning the property is going up. So you don't going to the grocery store to buy milk, the grocery store is telling you that is going up.
Right.
Like, you have no control over that. So at least get in a place where there's something in your life that you can control, and your housing and what you own and your property is something that you can do.
Right.
That's one of the few things right now it feels like that you can control. Now, if you want to go buy a used car, I think it's much better than it was.
Yes, it is probably going to get a lot better for used cars.
Yeah, you've had some car trouble.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you. So, FYI, when you buy a used cars, make sure you get the extended warranty.
Okay. Lessons learned from Glenda. Get extended warranty.
$17,000 on my 2019 Tahoe because the transmission completely slipped. And then a couple days later, my husband's 2020 Ford, his check engine light came on.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a old Chevy that my daughter loves. That's paid off. That is like it's kind of like one of those 1994 screen. So if you were a millennial like me, 98, like it was the perfect truck. So we're not getting rid of it.
Right.
Well, he took it to the shop the other day and they said, "Oh, your axles are about to fall off the back," like literally. So yeah. So the word of the wise is we always maintenance our cars, but the maintenance light didn't come on.
Right.
I felt it come on.
You felt the light come on?
No, I felt like the engine. I called my husband and I was like, crap, what did I do to my car? And he was like, Glenda, it's fine. And he was like, oh crap, it's really wrong.
Yeah.
And then when they called us, it was $17,000 of transmission. But the whole thing about it is get the extended warranty.
Right.
But it's kind of like in a lending perspective and a housing perspective, is buy a home is better than renting. Right. Because it's kind of like the twofold is we can control the outcome because I bought that extended warranty. Thank God I did, because I don't want to spend $17,000 cash. But we can't control what renters do, and we can't control the cost of my bacon, and eggs are $5 now.
Yeah.
Gas prices are coming down.
Not at the Mills house because we have chickens.
You have chickens, and I can't wait to have chickens one day. That's our goal, to have chickens.
Right.
But commodities, supply chain, COVID oil is what we thought COVID was a intermediate kind of an oh shit is now this is the long term of what happened.
Yes, I got COVID.
You did have
I'm
COVID.
recovering myself again. That's why I keep sniffing and I sound like crap
Round
because
2, right? Round 2
yeah,
still?
second one, I got it again. It was weird on this one because the first time I got it, it very much felt like the flu. Like I guess I don't know which, everybody says I got this version. I'm like, you don't even know because the PCR test, they don't tell you what
Yeah, like-
version you got. But I think I got what was the one? So there was the first one, and there was what was like the third one that was really contagious. Do you remember what it was called? Like
Omicron.
yeah. Yeah, that one.
It
that one.
was because
Yeah,
that's a sorority at
Right.
Tarleton. It was
Okay, so
Omicron.
Omicron or whatever. I got
What?
that. I'm pretty sure it was that version. We got it. I got it a year ago. We were in Colorado and we were skiing, and then like the last day we were supposed to ski, I woke up that morning and I was like, oh my gosh. And my head hurt, my body hurt, I had aches, I had chills. So it was like
Yeah.
the flu. It was very much like the flu.
Right.
And then this time, my daughter had wasn't feeling great. I don't know if she gave it to us or not. We didn't know because she was just like, oh, I feel congested. My whole house is allergies like 24/7. Like
It's been bad this week.
yeah, and not to mention with the weather changing like it did because it went from 106 degrees to like heavy rainstorms, and now it's like wonderfully
68 in the
80
morning.
degrees. Yeah, it's like wonderful outside. So my son his stuff starts bothering him, and he's like, my wife's like, oh, he's got his allergies are bothering him. I'm like, okay, fine. And he goes to school, doesn't feel great. They send him home. We get him tested, and he's got COVID.
Oh.
And then like half of his schools got it too. Everybody got it. And so then I got tested and I got it. And it was like, I felt like this time it was like allergies.
Right.
It really did. That's what it felt like. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel bad. I wasn't
Yeah.
tired. I wasn't worn down. I just felt like I had really bad case of allergies, which isn't unusual at this time of year when the weather changes
Right.
like that. So I got it. And, here's I got the 1%. I got a rash. Like I got a skin rash.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got it on my arm and I got a little bit on my stomach or whatever. And at first, like the first couple times I was like kind of itching. I was like, what is that? And I have this horrible thing when I do yard work. I have poison ivy around my house. So I get into poison ivy.
I'm
all the
not ever
time.
going around Mike's house again because I am allergic to crap.
Yes.
Poison ivy.
And I've gotten it more than probably 3 or 4 times in different spots. And I'm always late to the game because I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. I don't know what that is. And, of course, a day later, my whole arm's red and I look like I've got some kind of skin cancer. It's
Yeah.
bad. And so I really just thought, because I'd done the yard work
Yeah.
a couple days before, it's like, well, that's what that is. And then Susan starts looking it up online. She's like, I think that's COVID related. And I'm like, really? Like,
COVID
a
rash.
skin rash?
Oh, God.
And it was like 1% of the people get it. She showed me the pictures of it that she found online. And I was like,
wow.
that's exactly what it is. And then once my COVID went away, like I was tested negative, well, then within a day or two,
the COVID rash.
the
went
rash
away.
was gone.
Right.
So like, I don't know what this thing is, man.
Hell in a handbasket. What the hell is
Yes.
going on?
Yes. So things are nuts to say the least.
Yeah.
Your house, you finally got your house sold?
I did.
Yes.
I feel
Tell us about that adventure.
like it took forever. And it's crazy. Like whenever I talk to people, when I say people, like clients and agents, like my agent did a phenomenal job and bless her heart to deal with a lender going through this. I'm sure it's not easy. So shout out to her. She kicked ass on it, but it was on the market for 61 days.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that we were overpriced. We try to stall it because the new build that we're doing. But when the lenders, and we can have this conversation, we talk about pain points, like we're in it with our consumers. We buy houses, we sell houses, we refinance homes. And when lenders can go through it with clients, it makes it a little bit easy. But I saw the shift.
Right.
Like, and it's a complete 180, right? We talk about, if I would have listed my home 2 weeks earlier, it would have flown for higher. We had to do seller's concessions. We have a lease back, thankfully, that's free. But it wasn't as long as lease back. So now, Patsy, we're coming to Team Patsy for a while.
Yeah, now you'll be living with mom for a little bit till they get the
I
house
feel like
done.
I'm 18 again with
Yeah.
my 2 kids and my husband.
I can tell you from personal experience that adventure is not very fun. But
Team Patsy, Team Ken. Here we go.
Yeah, we did that for a little while. It was
But
rough.
it's hard because, especially as a lender, right? Because we now have to convey that to our clients and we're in it all day.
Yeah.
This is what we do all day, financing, negotiations. And when, again, we can't control what the builder does or supply chain COVID oil, it's just a lot of stress. So what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When you when you got your house under contract, you know, when you say 60 days, I think there's a lot of people like, oh my gosh, that took forever. But we have this weird little compartmentalized memory that we can only put perspective on something that's recently occurred.
Right. Because we were clear to close 3 weeks earlier.
Right.
Right. So the 61 days was only on the market for 30 days.
Yes.
And then our buyers were out of town for 2.5 weeks on top of the 3 weeks. So yeah, we could have closed 3 weeks earlier, but days on market, it looks, oh, Glenda's home was on the market for 61 days. Well, it's because the buyers weren't in town for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, and there's tons of circumstances like that. But my
Yeah.
point was just that the last 2 years, that would have been unusual.
For sure.
Right. But go back to 2019 and 2018.
That's normal.
That's very normal.
That's normal.
It's hard because even as realtors and lenders and buyers and sellers, the last 2 years has just been insane for
Right.
a million different reasons, right? The overall market has just been nuts. And the expectation of how real estate goes shifted because people just thought, well, this is how it is. And it's like, it's not like this. Like, this
It's
is not normal at all.
No.
And that's what, you do a great job about talking to agents about this stuff. And I talk to mine from time to time too, about like the last 2 years, if you're basing your career off of this is what it's going to be like, it's not. It's not. That was such an anomaly. And even going through it, like we're like, this is crazy. Like
we talked about it all the time. We're like, when's it gonna drop? When's it gonna drop? Like, or when's it gonna go?
So busy, right? And so you just like, I can't, it's funny during that time we were kind of like, I wish it would just slow down a little bit because I'm just wearing myself out. And now we're like, oh my gosh,
we need to go back to 2020.
But it is a turning of expectations that's changing. And that's why I do feel like you and I both have had a pickup in people calling to get pre-qualified because they're coming to terms with the fact like, okay, well, here's where we are, right? We're in this place.
Right.
Rates are high, prices are high. It is what it is.
Doubled. Like they literally doubled within 2 months.
Yes. Yeah.
But they also fell.
Yes.
Within 3 weeks.
Right. Right.
So it's what goes up comes down.
Yes.
So it is a expectation of today's market.
Right.
And I'm with you. I think consumers are finally grinning and bearing it that it's a 2018, right? I look back at the interest rates of what we had in 2018 and they're still lower.
Yeah.
Now 2019, they're kind of still the same, but between 2017 and 2019, they are still lower.
Yeah.
It's just the pandemic was something that hopefully we never see again in our lifetime.
Well, yeah, now it's gonna be like
a flu shot.
It's here all the time. Yeah, we just
now
get
you
to
have to
live
get a
with
flu
it.
shot every year, a COVID shot, whatever.
Right. So what are you telling your agents right now that are struggling a little bit, freaking out, like, oh, well, this is going to change? Like, what are you telling them?
Market, and every online, every social media platform will tell you that is when you think that you're marketing, market more.
Right.
You have to double down on your marketing. And when we say marketing, you need to go back to the two sides of it. You need to do the social marketing, which is videos. But then you need to go back to the direct to consumer marketing.
Yeah.
You need to get back to the newsletters, to the farming, to the door knocks, the stuff that the consumers are going to see you. And then now, of course, with all the technology, even over the last 3 years, we need to get into custom audiences and really kind of make our niche people and our consumers and who we know, we need to make them tighter.
Right.
So that means we need to get them on a list. We need to start following up with them, but we need to market every which way we think that we need to go. We need to market more.
Right.
Right. So you do your newsletter. It needs to have videos in there. That's why social is so big. We need to have, snapshots. We need to have fun stuff. We need to have community directory. And then we need a social educate.
Right.
That edge marketing that we always kind of talk about is we need to market more. We need to take the closings. And I keep saying this, and it's kind of like, oh, it's, great job. I have a closing. Consumers don't care about closings.
Right.
Consumers are not going to stay on your page. And they're probably, quite frankly, going to leave your page if that's all you're posting is closings.
Yeah.
It's that instant gratification of, oh, I've got a closing, but you're not educating the next consumer on what happened.
Well, and it's kind of a graduated scale though, to some extent, because if you're not posting at all,
right,
period, and you post some closings, okay, fine. Like at least you're posting something.
Correct.
But if you're already in the mode of posting, but that's all you're doing, then you need to start, like you said, graduating up a little bit and posting stuff that's different. And, the thing that I see more than anything that I think is, you got to be conscious of is that when you're posting stuff, whatever it may be, nobody wants to be sold. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They don't want to be told, hey, call me now to buy and sell your house or whatever, because, of course that's what you want. What they want is they want information.
Right.
They want knowledge. They want, okay, what's happening in the market? What are home prices looking like?
Right.
What I want to list my house, what do I need to do to make sure I can get as much as I can get for it? Like, those are the types of things. If you're going to post on a regular basis, that's the kind of stuff you probably need to be focusing on, is providing something of value to your audience. So that way they come back looking for more. So then when it does come time for them to buy or sell, they're going to give you a call because they see you as the expert, not just somebody that is like, hey, please call me if you want to sell your house. Right?
Because it is, you can't be salesy in a sales environment and in a social environment.
Yeah.
Because we understand in the world of social media, which is ever changing every single day, even the algorithms know when you sell.
Yeah.
And when you're too salesy, they don't push it out.
Right.
Which is crazy. So you have to be on every platform. And I know we kind of had touched on this, is no matter what, you need to have a footprint on every platform, because there's a different consumer on every platform.
Yeah.
Right. I had a breakfast meeting with an agent the other day, and she's super new and she's killing it out there. And I sent her a video and she was like, girl, I'm never going to watch a YouTube long form video. That's not her style.
Right.
And it got me thinking of, oh crap, you're right. And you're a millennial real estate agent and you're not on there, but she gets a lot of business from Instagram.
Right.
But the flip turn, an agent this morning lost all of her contacts. There's something wrong with the cloud. And the flip turn of that is that's why we have to have everything in a centrally located backup system, right? Yeah. Custom audiences, an Excel spreadsheet. We have to go back to name, phone number, and email in an Excel spreadsheet. Because what happens, right? The day that Facebook went down, we need to have another platform. If marketing goes down, and
got a backup plan,
we got to have a backup of a backup. Yeah. And this is why it's systems today need to be more prevalent than anything that we do in a market that agents don't know what to do.
Yep.
Get your systems in place. So when it does flip back around,
you're ready to go.
It's ready. It's go time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a big key too, is like, if you're having a lull, which, we all are to some extent, then this is the time to really get your processes in place, get yourself ready to go. Cause like you said, the market's going to change it's anybody's guess, but it's going to go back the other direction. So you need to be ready when that happens, because the demand will come back and there'll be people, calling you. And if you're not prepared, then the next guy or gal who is, we'll get the business. So,
and that's the social, and I know we're running up on 37 minutes, but that's kind of the social part of it that it's missing. Right. That agents are still too scared to get on video. And this is why we can schedule a one-on-one. You don't have to show your face on video. You just have to do video. Because when it does flip back around and the demand goes way high again, who do you think consumers are going to go after?
Yeah, they're going to see you.
They're going to social validate is maybe a good word to do it. And if you're not on social, you're going to miss the boat on the other side.
Well, we rambled about a lot of stuff today.
What the hell's going on?
For 40 minutes. And tequila and all kinds of stuff. So the bottom line is that you can only control what you can control.
For sure.
And so there's a lot of craziness going on, and there's a lot of, uncertainty out there, but focus on what's in front of you, keep your eyes moving forward. I love Dory from Finding Nemo. Like, you just keep swimming.
Yep.
You got to keep swimming. You got to keep trudging along, because if you don't, and if you fall into the pit of despair and the poor me's and all this kind of stuff, I promise you it doesn't get better.
No.
So, if you can control your brain and keep yourself in a positive place and keep on keeping on, you'll get through it just like everybody else. And it's just, we're just going through we're just going through uncertain times, and everybody's working their way through it in their own way. So I think that we'll hopefully in the near future we'll all look back on this and go, okay, well, that was interesting. But
like 2020,
life's is back. But this is just kind of the stuff we're going through now. So I think that's enough rambling for now.
There you
We're
go.
good. Thanks for, tuning in and watching this, guys. And we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Go
And
get you some tequila.
go
It's
get some
tacos.
tequila and tacos on Tuesday. Here we go. Later.